the RIOT Podcast. It's the Thursday, March 9th edition. Welcome to our show, our humble show.
Our humble podcast.
Yes. Can we all take a moment and appreciate that Nikki is wearing a shirt that isn't black? I don't know.
I know.
If you're watching the podcast, it's obscured by her microphone, but not fully dressed in black today.
I think I found all my old RadioU shirts.
Yeah, that one's a throwback for sure.
It is.
Is that one even for sale anymore?
No, it's an old Stars
I
one.
know we have the vintage shirts from the fundraisers for sale if you ever go on the shop page at RadioU.com.
Nope.
Not that one, though.
It's an exclusive.
Maybe Nikki will sell it to you.
For double the price.
Yeah.
Like here, I'll sell it on one of the resale stores.
Yeah. All right. Tell us about what we already talked about.
So we talked
in the
about
future.
so we talked about if more money makes you happier.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, and the answers might surprise you. Let's move along.
You don't want to rehash it?
We talked about a study why people are so afraid of clowns.
Yeah. Are you afraid of clowns?
I am not.
Not afraid. Not even a tiny bit.
Not even a little bit.
But don't you think it's not like we're afraid? Again, you're just like, if you saw a clown, it's like, it's weird.
Yeah, it feels weird. I agree.
It's true, and it's weird. I wouldn't even expect to see a clown.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like if you saw a clown in public, you weren't at like a haunted house or something.
Mm-hmm.
You would be a little unsettled just because you'd be like, what is this clown doing?
Now, I know
here?
some still do, like, you can go to the hospital and you might see one, like, to make people happy. Or, like, you did theater and this is still your outlet, like that sort of thing. But otherwise, it is kind of odd if you're not at a little children's birthday party.
Yeah, it seems like it seems weird now to have a clown come to a child's birthday party.
Well, I think they would want, like, Superman or something.
Yeah.
Or
And so
Spider-Man.
for
Or
me,
Frozen.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like if I ever had a kid, if I ever had a child, I don't think my first pick for their birthday party would be a clown.
But
I
it's
just
not
don't
your
think.
pick, it's their pick.
Well, that's not how it works.
I can't wait to see that. You're like, Daddy said no.
And
Daddy said no clown. We couldn't afford a clown.
You would pick a clown. The clown's cheaper than Superman's.
Yeah, exactly.
Less demand.
No, at that point, it's whatever
I
you
am
feel
the clown.
You're
Yeah,
dressing
that's
up
right.
as.
Yeah.
You think you would make a
you'll
good
hear about
clown?
the study.
I think I'd make a decent clown. I think I'd make a good character. I play one every day.
I think we'd both make good clowns. I'm very I can do, obviously I'm not in the right field for it, but I can do some physical comedy. I don't know how to do balloon animals though.
Well, you could
I
learn.
can juggle.
Yeah.
I could try murdering people as well.
You know, between the two
that would
of
make me a
you,
good clown.
I feel like you guys could do a double clown feature, like where, you're juggling and you're tripping on your big clown shoes, like physical comedy.
Yeah.
And you guys could go out and do parties. Or our RadioU DJ
clown
service.
duo, 2 for 1.
Oh, look at that.
2 for 1.
You can charge some premium dollars there.
Yeah.
I like the way you think.
I'll set that
Very
up for
enterprising. Nikki's going to be the clown manager.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I drive the tiny car. I'm like, get in, guys.
Oh, can you imagine? Wait, a clown, an agent for clowns, and like they're making demands, like on the phone, like, listen, my client doesn't want to be a part of it unless there's gonna be the balloons provided.
I
And
can
there's
see it all.
be. We're not gonna run out of balloons at this event. Okay, you need to provide a vat of the balloon animals.
And then I become like this major, well-known clown manager, and then they find my past clown comments. Like, I think it's stupid.
Yeah, and then you realize all the clowns realize you're not on their side
I'm
after
not.
all.
I'm
You're just in
not.
it for yourself.
But I'll help you guys if you decide to.
right.
Anything
Are
else?
you guys finished?
Yeah.
Are you two finished?
No.
We also talked about a man who was ordered to pay his wife for 25 years of work at home.
Now, we forgot to mention, we didn't see it till afterwards, but she also gets like $1,500 each month. And so like 1,000 counts for like her kids and 500 for her. So she gets a monthly amount too.
Now, off the bat, when I saw that, I was like, okay, really? But then you think about it, and she went, 25 years or something without having a career. She was doing, her work was working, taking care of the family and whatever. And so try getting back into the workforce with that as your resume.
No.
It's not going to be easy. You're definitely not going to get as high a paying job as if you had been working all that time. So it makes sense.
Plus, this case, they said took over 2 years. And so I'm sure if you're in that area of Spain, you're known as this lady now. And then it'd probably be even harder to find a job because you're just been in the news.
The other thing that's wild to me is the kids. I'm trying to figure out the kids' ages.
They're probably older. I mean,
Because the kid, yes, I'm saying. So how is she getting $1,000 for kids that are already graduated from high school?
probably back alimony.
Fair
Interesting,
enough.
because it said that the reason she filed for divorce was because he refused to pay for his daughter's tuition.
Oh, and it seems like, again, he has money. So,
Yeah.
nothing's worse than that.
I was just thinking about
Not having money, but just if he has money, he's not giving it to his kids.
Yeah,
So.
going back to like kind of thinking about the clown agent. I'm not
Here we go.
going to do a clown
Here we
agent
go.
thing, but I'm like on that same vein of trying to imagine the lawyer that has to make the argument for the guy to not pay.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll take a side of something, and I feel like I could be a good lawyer because I'll just make up an argument for something where I'm clearly wrong.
Sure.
But at least sometimes it's convincing. But for this, I would like, what would you be your argument? Trying to argue against this lady,
Well,
just trying to get some money because she's been working from home all this time, like working at home.
I'll tell you what the argument is. Get a job.
Oh, no. You haven't
No,
been through
that'd be terrible. I can't
Yeah.
imagine. I mean, nowhere's hiring right now. It's a hard time to get a job. I mean, there are people that can't find a job right now, which is just crazy talk. Go on.
All right. I think we actually have enough. I think we can just start the podcast.
I think Isaiah should be a divorce lawyer.
No.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
I think I could be.
A clown divorce.
A clown
lawyer.
divorce. Here we go.
Oh,
I dress up as a clown and I go into the courtroom.
You help entertain
Yes. Precisely.
I don't think she should get anything.
I don't-
Honk, honk.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're done. We're done with clowns. Make sure you text and say hi at 877-2 Radio U. Enjoy the podcast today, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Catch you next time.
Bye.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
You guys, are you familiar with Steve Ballmer?
No.
He's the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers in the NBA. He made his fortune with Microsoft. He's one of the, big guys over at Microsoft from back in the day. And the Clippers, they've shared a stadium for years now, for about 25 years, with the Los Angeles Lakers. So that's the setup for all of this, right?
Okay.
I always felt like they were the little brother because they're
How come
sharing
they
a
don't have their own
stadium.
stadium?
Well, now they do.
Convenience.
They're about to.
Convenience.
It saves money, But now they've been working on building a new stadium that'll be near the SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, where the Rams play and the Chargers play. State of the art. And here's what's really exciting about it. According to the owner of the Clippers, Steve Ballmer, it's going to have 3 times the toilets of the average NBA stadium.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, this guy
Is that really his press conference?
He's really fired up.
He's excited.
He is so excited about this, and you can watch him, and he's like serious about it. It's going to have 1,160 toilets, so that he's saying no one will ever have to wait in line.
Smart.
It is. You don't want to miss a minute of the action
Now,
when you
are
go to a
we-
Clippers game.
Are we going to have like equal half and half for
No.
bathrooms, or do more ladies
There should be
restrooms?
more ladies, I
More
think.
ladies
You think
restrooms.
more ladies?
I think there should be. Will there be? I don't know. There should be, though.
I don't know. I'm of two minds because clearly, right, the women. If this was any other thing, it's a sports stadium.
Mm-hmm.
It needs more men's restrooms.
I don't know, because normally there's a longer line for the ladies' restroom.
That's true. That's so true.
I think in a lot of cases, but
But
when
are you
go
saying
to
more guys go to the sporting
yes,
events?
I'm sure that the Clippers aspire to have many female fans as well, but typically you go to a sporting event, and in my experience, especially if you go at like halftime or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a long line. Now it moves pretty quick, but you're going to have a long line of dudes waiting in line, where the ladies, like, there's just not as many there. So it's not as crowded in the bathroom.
Yeah, but sometimes you just want to
Trust
break
me,
from
I've
the
been
game.
in them. So
the women's or the men's? Hudson?
What are you saying?
yeah, I have a lot of experience.
No, I normally just hear the stories of, the ladies who are fed up, so they just go into the guys' restroom.
Yeah,
Yes.
Because there's always just shorter lines.
I know. I mean, I know at a lot of places when it's crowded, that's the case. I just think it's sports because it's so male dominant But maybe they're going to have WNBA games there too, probably, right? So
Okay. I think you're just walking the line where someone's going to get offended.
Yeah, that's
again.
what I'm thinking too. I think we'll say there's a lot of
Women
bathrooms.
Was it the part where I
only
said
go
I've
to
been
the
proud-
women's
Right
basketball
after
game.
International Women's Day.
you're right. Even women aren't going to them.
You're right. No one's going. Well, I guess we'll find out. But do we like the Clippers? Are they good? Are they just okay?
They're good, but
good.
I'm not a huge fan.
Okay.
It doesn't probably say a lot about them that, granted, this is just a part of his, pumping up the stadium. But the top story about your new stadium is not the basketball team that's going to win so many games, but the toilets.
The toilets.
Probably tells you a lot, don't you think?
Well, he
It's-
found something he's passionate about along with basketball.
It fits with the Clippers' history, though. It really does.
The toilet part,
Yeah,
because they're bad.
usually.
They flush the
Until recently, yes.
the season away.
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
The age-old question: can money buy happiness?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Thank you. We've all heard people say money can't buy happiness, but I have some studies here that might say otherwise. Well, okay, I've got two studies here that kind of contradict each other.
Shocker.
I've got a study from Princeton that found that happiness steadily increased along with income until you hit $75,000
And then at that
a
point,
year.
yeah.
And that's where it cuts off, where it levels off, basically. Once you make $75,000 a year, granted, that was 2010, way back in 2010. I wonder if that would have been higher had they done it this day and age. But then there was another study in 2021 from the University of Pennsylvania that found that happiness continued rising with no plateau in sight, no matter how much money you made.
I knew I liked University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
They seem smarter there, don't they?
But since those two studies kind of, even though they were like years apart, they contradict each other a little bit. So what they just did recently was they had the people from those studies, like Princeton and University of Pennsylvania, work together with a mediator to try to figure out their data to make some sense of it.
With a mediator?
Yeah,
Are
they
they
had like
fighting about
a
it?
strategist, or not a strategist, but like a data, like a study mediator. I don't know how
Okay,
studies
and in
work.
between.
But they had an other outside party to get involved so that they could make all this make sense.
Yeah.
And so basically the conclusion from all this that they've landed on, see if this sounds like it makes sense to you, is that for most people, that two things can be true. For most people, the more money you make, the happier you are. But there's some people, and they call it like an unhappy minority, that are going to be upset. No, like they're not going to be happy no matter how much they make.
I don't think
And
that's us.
No. Well, I'd like to test it out.
You want to find out?
I would like to test it out, but
I don't
yeah.
think we want to be like, it'd be nice. I assume that it must be really hard to be like a bajillionaire, like just super, super wealthy. There must be a lot of stuff that goes with it. I just want to be comfortably wealthy, but not enough to where I'm stressed.
I'd like to be able to eat out.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to have fast
So
food.
comfortably wealthy?
Just a middle of the road guy.
Yeah.
If I could just be
Is that
average.
too much to ask?
Sounds like that'd be great.
Yeah.
Like, to where you can eat out and have fun and not worry about a budget, but
Yeah.
then you don't have to have a staff for like your giant house.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is what when I think about being like making more money, what I think about is not a bigger house. It's not a bunch of possessions. It is just going to Applebee's.
eat
I don't know
out?
why I said Applebee's
You
because
just
I
want
probably wouldn't
wings,
go there.
don't
But
you?
I just want to go to any restaurant and not be like, oh, well, I shouldn't order that because that would be too expensive. I just want to go to a restaurant and eat what I want and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, that sounds like a
That's wealth
perfectly
to me.
wealthy level.
Maybe that's about $75,000 a year.
I
And
think-
that's why it levels off after that.
I think this study was expecting people to want more than that. You're like, no, I just basically want that.
Yeah, but I mean, I also want to know, how do I get a part of the study where they just keep giving me more money and I keep telling them if I'm happy or not?
No, they must have found people that already had money
Hmm.
at those levels and then put them in the study. They're not giving that money out.
No,
They
they
should.
said that they like gave everybody an app.
An
And
app?
every day you pretty much tracked your happiness. It's what it did.
That would be That'd be a lot of pressure.
It would. How happy am I today?
Yeah.
I'm
You
pretty
feel like
tired.
if you're making more money or less.
Let me go to my bank app first,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I'll go back over.
If I had that app, I would feel pressure to answer, I'm very unhappy with having a low amount. Like until my income rose, I'd be like, still unhappy.
Still unhappy. Let me get more.
I'm doing this for everyone
They
that's
say
making this amount of money.
that money isn't everything for your emotional well-being. There's a lot of other moving parts to life, so money is just one of the many determinants of happiness. It's not the secret to happiness, but it can help a bit. So I think that's true.
I guess what sucks is, like, again, how they laid this all out is, it sounds like if you're making over $75,000 and you're still unhappy,
Then
there's no amount of money that will make you happy.
You have no excuse.
And 75,000 isn't even really that much.
You might be one of the just naturally unhappy people, or you're not eating out enough.
Yeah,
That's
maybe you need
right.
to do more with your money.
Go to Applebee's.
Why are you picking that
I don't
one?
know.
Yeah,
It's a good
anywhere else.
choice. Good choice.
You're not going to Applebee's.
No matter how much money I make.
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
Creed 3 came out last weekend to very positive reviews. It made a bunch of money at the box office. And interestingly enough, it's inspired a lot of people, maybe in all the wrong ways, in Europe.
I saw they had a big, huge fight at like some sort of movie theater in Paris.
And that's not the only one.
They've been having others?
This is what's crazy.
Are you just so like, what's the word? Inspired
by the movie.
By the fighting?
It really gets you riled up. It's very unclear why these are happening. But since Creed 3 has been released in Europe, there has now been at least 12 separate incidents in France, along with 3 separate incidents in Germany at different theaters.
That's so weird.
Where fights and even full-on like brawls have broken out at showings of Creed 3, and it's gotten big enough to where some movie theaters are obviously they're stopping the screenings at the theaters when the brawls break out.
Yeah.
But some theaters are just pulling the movie altogether because they don't want to have one of these incidents break out at their theater.
It must be some sort of setup. Like people are just setting up, okay, we're going here, going to do a fight or something, because that just doesn't break out on its own.
It is very odd. So the authorities in, I think it was Germany, they are very confused about like what is causing these to happen. And so they've been wondering whether it was, because again, it's always Creed 3. And it's happened in Germany at least 3 times, probably about 15 times total, it looks like, across Europe. And so they are wondering, is it a viral marketing campaign?
Oh, please don't tell me that's what we're doing.
Paying people to start
talk.
fights at Creed 3? Or is it a social media thing? Kind of like, remember Gentle Minions?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, is it like that?
Now that I could totally see. This
But
is just way more physical.
They've just found no evidence for anything like that. So, but then the other possibility is, are people just getting so into the movie that they're getting into arguments or something that's causing them to fight? They're like,
I don't know.
I think Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan would be in the same weight class. You're ridiculous. You don't know anything about boxing. They're way different sizes. This fight would never take place. I don't know what they're getting into fights about.
It feels though like because they've had so many, it has to be organized just for some way, some reason.
I don't know. I think.
But if you're Creed 3, you're not happy because you're missing out since they're pulling the movie from a lot of
sucks because they're pulling the
cinemas in
movie,
Europe.
but it makes me want to go see it more. Because what if it is like cinema?
You're not going to have that here. We're not having fights here.
Why not?
It's only just in Europe.
It could happen here.
You going to start one? A
Maybe.
good old-fashioned
we'll
brawl?
see. I'll go to the movie and see if I feel inspired by it.
Have you ever been to a movie where things got bad, like whether the stuff didn't work at the theater and like you had to go and get a refund or leave? Like that's annoying.
No.
You don't want to.
I haven't had that.
And if you're the one causing
But I'd
it,
be happy to cause it. Yeah, I'd be happy to be the one at the center of attention.
man, it's the worst. You're like, okay, I guess we'll do this another time.
Yeah, you know you're never coming back to finish that.
I know
half
you'll
of the
never
movie.
see the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's if it is just purely because of the movie, I'm impressed. If it's a viral marketing campaign, I'm also impressed. And if people are just going because they feel like they can get away with it or something, I don't know I don't understand that, but I guess not impressed by that.
So this is only in Europe so far, but Creed 3 so far here in the U.S. has been fine.
Well,
Let's keep it that way.
It only takes one.
It takes one bad Hudson in the whole bunch.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
We had the end of an era yesterday in college basketball. Nikki, I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, Jim Boeheim.
I thought I mentioned, or I've heard you mention him before, but I don't know much about him.
I know college basketball is not what it used to be. Like, you get the tournament that comes around, but like for most of the season, people don't pay attention. So it's not as big. Like, we don't talk about it too much.
Sure.
But it's kind of more of a niche thing. But Jim Boeheim, he is the longtime coach of Syracuse basketball, had a lot of success there, won a national championship several years back.
Only one?
Only one.
Only
in
one.
47 years, but that's one more than a lot of coaches have. And
Jim's probably like, come on.
I know.
I just retired.
I just think it's impressive for 47 seasons. He goes without being fired.
Wow.
That
Yeah,
just doesn't
actually,
happen
that is
anymore.
true.
Especially when you only win one championship. But no, he had a pretty successful run at Syracuse for a long time. It hasn't been as good lately. But yeah, Isaiah's right. Yesterday, he kind of unceremoniously announced that he had they lost their game to Wake Forest in the ACC tournament, and so he said that would be his last.
Oh, he just quit right then.
That's his retirement right there.
That's hard because sometimes that's why it's better if you leave on a high note, like you decide instead of waiting till you've been there so long and you get one bad game and you're just fed up.
It is odd. What do you guys think? He is kind of close, in a way, closely tied. He's one of the top on the all-time wins list for coaching in college basketball, up there with like Coach K, who retired last year, Mike Krzyzewski. And last year, Mike Krzyzewski, we knew going into the season, he announced it was a farewell tour. And so every place was giving him like plaques and stuff before games when he would play.
Yeah, this seems sad.
Yeah, where Jim Boeheim just kind of, you knew it had to be coming soon. He's getting real old. But he just, after a disappointing season and a loss, he's just like, that was it for
So
me.
Syracuse done? Like,
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah,
Okay.
they barely were over 500. I don't know if they'd get invited to one of the like lesser tournaments because there are so many, but
Man, they don't
I don't
need
even
the
know if
coach
they'd
for that.
want. I don't know if
No.
they'd even want to go. You know what I mean? So
They say throughout NCAA basketball history, no coach has ever been with their alma mater longer than he has.
47. Think about this. 47 years sounds impressive. I feel like it sounds more impressive when you think that he started coaching in 1976.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
A long time.
Which means he was a truly amazing coach or like the worst and no one ever said anything and he just made it that long.
He did kill a man.
No, he didn't.
No, he did. Actually, he did, but he was cleared of wrongdoing. It was some guy was on the side of the road, and so he
You don't
hit
just
him
throw
with his
that out
car.
there.
Yeah, what a wild statement.
It's true. He killed a guy.
Why would you bring that up during his retirement? I mean, it doesn't
Because-
bother me, though, because I hate Jim Boeheim.
Why do you hate him so much?
Because he's the biggest grump of all time. He's like the
Well,
one.
he's old.
But I'm saying in press conferences, like his whole career,
Yeah.
if you type in Jim Boeheim in press conferences, it's going to be a myriad of him acting like a child. He
Did
is a great
he-
coach, but he was terrible in press conferences.
Did he also pick his nose a lot, it looks like?
Yes.
Yes,
At least a
okay.
couple times. At least it looked
Boy.
like that.
But he was very innovative. He's like one of the only coaches ever who ran like one defense the whole time, which was the zone defense. Fantastic defense.
People
He was
hate that defense.
He was a great coach, but in interviews, terrible person.
Worst guy. Well, I like
worst
someone's
guy.
comments. Sad that we won't be able to see anybody picking their nose on national
Yeah.
TV anymore. The game will never be the same.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of my big influences. So
Well, he killed a guy, so
Again,
Nice.
I hope
Don't-
to.
maybe I would have left that
I
out.
hope to be as grumpy and pick my nose as much as he does.
So 47 years?
47 years.
Wow.
45 happy years.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
Now, Nikki, are you afraid of clowns?
No, but I don't understand it.
You don't understand
No, and
clowning?
Yeah, because like I there was a big, I think it was like a documentary a long time ago, and it was just like, hey, people wanted to be clowns. Like that was an art, that was an entertainment field. And like for us, we chose radio.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to fault anybody for like going into it.
Because clowns are probably afraid of us.
The field of clowns.
Yeah.
But how it's an art that has been dying away.
It's definitely different now to be a clown.
So it's not like I'm scared of it. I just couldn't understand why someone would want to become a clown.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a good point, though, if you think about it. Because nowadays, if you're becoming a clown, you're going to do what? Either Cirque du Soleil
or parties
or kids' birthday parties.
That'd probably be it.
Back in the day, I wouldn't say it would be a prestigious role, but you could be a clown in like a theater or something. Like, you'd be like a stand-up comedian, basically.
Now it feels like you can only be a scary clown to get traction or to be successful.
Now you're making me think that if I was alive in a different time, I might have been a clown.
Probably.
I might have been. I could have been.
Radio's not far off from it.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I'm not scared of clowns generally. Like if I went to a kid's birthday party and there was a clown there, I wouldn't be like, oh no. But scary clowns scare me.
Yeah.
Like if you make a scary clown in a scary movie, that's a scary thing.
You don't want to go see that?
Yeah, I don't want to see that. Like the Terrifier movies that were going around or whatever. So I'm not into that. But why are some people so afraid of clowns, just any clown in general? I have a new study on that. First of all, it asked people about different fears. And in this study, they found, based off of people's self-reporting, that more people are extremely afraid of clowns than any of the other options they listed.
Really?
Yeah. So like heights, blood, injections, injuries, like claustrophobia, flying, all of that. Clowns are a bigger fear. More people are extremely afraid of clowns than any of those other things. And so then they were trying to, they asked the people a bunch of questions in this study to try to figure out why. And they have 8 possible explanations. Number 1 is that you just get an eerie or unsettling feeling because of the makeup that a clown wears that hides what their actual emotions might be, even though a lot of times it's supposed to accentuate their emotions. But
you never know what they really look like.
Right. Yeah. So they say think of like the same reason people get people find dolls or mannequins creepy, which is why a clown mannequin is the creepiest thing that you could possibly imagine. They also say, this is again the opposite, I guess, the exaggerated facial features convey a direct sense of threat.
Sure.
The makeup hides their emotional signals and creates uncertainty. The color of their makeup reminds people of death, infection, or blood injury.
Yeah, it evokes disgust or avoidance.
Yeah. This is a good one. Their unpredictable behavior makes us uncomfortable. It's true. You never know if a clown is going to make a balloon animal or stab you with an axe.
Well, there's left and right there.
You don't know. They are very unpredictable. It's learned from family members. Negative portrayals of clowns in popular culture.
See, I think that's probably because at this point, that's all we get for clowns.
If you see a scary clown, like if you only ever saw Ronald McDonald, you probably wouldn't be scared of clowns. But once you start seeing the clowns that are on like American Horror Story or Pennywise or whatever, then
I don't know. There's an old McDonald's near me where, the McDonald's is new, but they never changed out the statue thing.
They still have Ronald with his leg crossed on the bench.
The other characters they used to have.
Grimace.
And it's so old and like it is.
So you're scared of Ronald McDonald.
It is disturbing looking.
Okay.
Because you're like, is that really what they had back then?
You know what that is?
What?
That's a clown mannequin.
Oh,
that's why it's so scary.
It's more disturbing.
And then finally, a frightening experience with clowns, which unsurprisingly, the lowest on the list because nobody actually ever gets attacked by a clown normally. But because you see it portrayed other places,
you're the most scared.
That's why you're scared of it. So I mean, it's really a combo of all of those things. But I think clowns want you to remember it's not because we've hurt you. That's what the clowns are saying.
That's what they're trying to tell you. With a honk honk in their nose.
Right. See, how could something like this hurt?
They're not scary at all.
The Riot Radio U.
Quick poll. Who wants to go home, everybody? Yay.
I'm ready.
Every day.
And I know for some, depending on your work schedule, like, I'm not even there yet. I'm sure you still want to go home.
Or I am at home, and it's not all it's cracked up to be,
That
actually.
is true.
I've got another instance of you be the judge on the show. Now, granted, this case has already been decided in the court, but I still want to hear what you guys think. We have a man in Spain who has, it's been judged for him that he is going to have to pay about 200,000 euros to his ex-wife.
Okay.
Which I believe euros are pretty equal to dollars.
It's about $215,000.
$215,000. The reason is that he's paying her back for 25 years worth of unpaid domestic work done in the home.
Oh, because she was like a stay-at-home mom or a wife?
Yeah, took care of they had 2 daughters. And she stayed at home and, did a lot of the typical cooking, cleaning, all that stuff that you might expect. And maybe she even went above and beyond. And so now that they've split up, the judge has ordered that he's going to have to pay her out for all of that work she did.
Well, good.
It's because of a separation of assets that they had signed when they got married.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tied to like basically, how you would sign a prenup or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's some legal documents going back to when they got married, and now it's coming back to bite the husband all these years later.
Even though I feel like if you're talking like 25 years, 215,000 might not feel like enough if you're based on like if you had a salary or something.
Yeah, that's true. She could have done, if she had spent all that time working, you would hope 25 years she would make
way more than that.
Yeah, way more than that. But she was dedicated to taking care of their kids and whatever. And so now she's finally reaping the benefits of all that.
Good.
Yeah.
In case you can't tell which side I would be on.
Yeah, right.
Clearly.
Nikki's like, a divorce doesn't sound so bad.
It sounds like such a great idea. She kept her house clean and everything.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I think it's because, especially since they did sign the separation of assets,
Yeah,
which
it makes sense.
Not everybody does, but that meant that, his stuff stayed his, hers stayed hers, compared to like if you're together with someone, your stuff kind of merges together. So like you're all paying for everything you were spending in that 25 years. They weren't. And so it was almost like, he did have to end up paying her since they're not together.
I wonder,
like a job.
I wonder, like maybe back when they got married and they signed this thing, the husband was probably thinking like, yeah, but how much is the judge really going to make me pay her? You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
How much work could she possibly do type thing? He might have had a bad attitude about it.
But the thing is, he has a lot more money.
Mm-hmm.
So they say that it's still better for him because he, again, made all that money during that time.
So it was like a negotiation type thing.
It's almost like she still did not make out as well as she should have.
I mean, $200,000 though, all at once.
Yeah.
If that's how
For
it
being a
works.
stay-at-home mom.
That sounds pretty. I mean, I know you can never pay a stay-at-home mom enough, and I'm sure that is true.
Your mom
But
says thank you for staying.
Still, $200,000. That is a lot of money.
That sounds pretty great.
Yeah.
We
Like
just
a
talked about wanting to
lottery?
stay at home, didn't we? That sounds pretty great.
Is it like a lottery though, to where you have to pay taxes off of it or something?
Oh, probably.
I mean, as long as you got the whole amount.
Yeah, I do wonder how that works, and maybe different in Spain. But $200,000. This is going to start giving some people ideas.
Of divorcing?
Of what?
Yes.
Or what? Oh,
Of being a
Exactly.
stay-at-home mom?
Stay-at-home mom.
I'll stay at home as a dad if they pay me $200,000.
Yeah.
We have told you have a dog that doesn't count.
Yeah, I know. I feel like it should count, though. It feels like I'm doing more work, actually.
I want you to take that to a judge.
Yeah.
You're not
Well.
even married and you just have a dog.
I'd like to be paid a lump sum for all the work that I've done.
So you're going to the Spanish court. You're like, what do I need to do
Who
to
are
get
you
that
even
money?
going to
Yes.
sue for that?
I don't know. Whoever sold me my dog.
That would be
That's who I'm
perfect.
I feel like
suing.
Jim's going to grow up and like get a job after he gets an education or
Hopefully.
something.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, $200,000 to stay after years of stay-at-home work. It finally pays off for this mom. So good for her.
And she got that because she decided to sue for the compensation. So it
so
wasn't even like they were offering.
Yeah, that's right. She's like, here's $200,000 for your trouble on our way out the door.
I don't know if I'd like the guy in
Yeah.
this.
Thanks for watching the worst of the riot. Since you made it this far, you might as well like, subscribe, and check out riot.radiou.com for even more riot.